Hi guys. Sorry you're gonna hear that. Let's do a Mojo videos. Hmm. Let me pick one, guys. Um. Let's do top 10 movies so depressing you can't only watch them once. Okay.
Switch to Verizon Fios with internet starting at just $39.99 per month. Only from Verizon.
Great films aren't always easy to watch. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 movies so depressing you can only watch them once. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at various movies which, due to their incredibly difficult and challenging subject matter, are unlikely to inspire repeat viewings. The movies are ranked on a mixture of quality and just how difficult they are to watch. As we'll be discussing major plot points, a spoiler alert is now in effect. Number 10, House of Sand and Fog. House of Sand and Fog is a powerful but often overlooked movie starring Ben Kingsley and Jennifer Connelly about two parties battling for control of a house and the destruction of the various lives involved. The movie takes the rather bloodless issue of house ownership and turns it into a tragedy, an investigation of the many ways in which life can fall apart, complete with a brutally emotional ending that sees the suicides of an Iranian husband and wife. While the novel's ending is actually far darker and even more depressing, the film is upsetting enough to warrant one good watch and some somber reflection, but not a repeat viewing.
This is my house!
Who are you?
This is my house. Who said you could do this?
Number 9, Grave of the Fireflies.
I hate this shelter.
Well, you'll be sorry if you get blown up by a bomb.
Studio Ghibli movies are often exercises in imagination and
No.
wonder, but Grave of the
Anime.
Fireflies is a harrowing and realistic look into Japanese life at the end of World War II. The movie begins with a wallop by having us watch as a young boy starves to death. From there, the film never really lets up, jumping back in time to show how we got there in excruciating detail. We witness horrible images of realistic violence and the slow descent into desperation and death of our protagonists, Seita and Setsuko. The movie is often considered one of the greatest anti-war films
I'm not
ever made
into
due to its
anime, I'm
harrowing
sorry.
depiction of innocent lives caught in the crossfire.
Please, doctor, help her.
Give her medicine. All this child needs is some food.
Number 8. Sophie's Choice.
Du kannst eins von den Kindern behalten. Das andere muss weg.
Since the movie's release in 1982, the titular choice has been ingrained in popular culture. It's a scene so devastating that even those who haven't seen the film are well aware of what it involves. Upon arriving in Auschwitz, Sophie had to make the terrible choice of which of her 2 children would be sent to the gas chambers.
Zwingen Sie mich nicht zu wählen. Ich kann nicht wählen.
This revelation alone kills the
It's
desire to
drama
revisit
movies.
Sophie's Choice. That's far from the only difficult scene. Meryl Streep delivers a mesmerizing award-winning performance. That only serves to make it more realistic and disturbing. While the movie is required viewing, seeing it once is more than enough.
Oh God, they had courage.
Number 7. $1 Million Baby.
Real
I've
fruit
seen that
tea, real
movie
squeezed
before.
juice. Have a round with Arnold Palmer's
Eh,
Pint.
Those ignorant of $1 Million Baby's massive plot twist surely found their jaws on the movie theater floor when it hit. The movie begins like a female version of Rocky, as an aspiring boxer named Maggie trains with a grumpy old man named Frankie. However, the movie takes a massive turn midway through, when Maggie becomes quadriplegic after breaking her neck. It then spirals into an emotionally exhausting story of family tragedy and the morality of euthanasia.
Can't be like this, Frankie. Not after what I done.
Clint Eastwood is known for his difficult and extremely personal movies, but we believe that $1 Million Baby takes the cake as his most emotionally upsetting. It makes for a very challenging and very depressing viewing experience.
Kill her. Don't say that.
Number 6. The Passion of the Christ.
Never feel cut up.
Regardless of your religious beliefs, The Passion of the Christ makes for such a disturbing time at the movies that seeing it once is more than enough. The movie was criticized upon release for its excessive violence, as a large portion of the running time is dedicated to Jesus' torture and impending death. Roger Ebert called the movie the most violent film he had ever seen, while others called it little more than a snuff film. Viewers are likely to remember the horrific violence over the religious themes, leaving little reason to see the movie twice, as its distressing imagery will surely play on repeat in your mind for years to come afterwards. Number 5. Precious.
I'm gonna kill you, bitch.
Precious was produced by Oprah Winfrey, so you just knew it was going to be sad. The film goes to places and explores themes that most Hollywood movies would never dare to visit. Precious is a 16-year-old who's raped by her father and becomes pregnant on 2 separate occasions. Her mother uses her and her child, who has Down syndrome, to receive welfare.
School ain't gonna help nothing. Take your ass down to the welfare.
Precious later learns that she's contracted HIV from her father, and while the movie ends on an uplifting note, the preceding 2 odd hours makes for an extremely upsetting viewing experience due to the stellar performances and disturbingly realistic look into abuse and poverty.
I ain't never had no boyfriend. My daddy said he gonna marry me.
Number 4. Hotel Rwanda.
We must cut the tall trees.
Called the African Schindler's List by some, Hotel Rwanda chronicles the real story of the Rwandan genocide, an event that saw the deaths of up to 1 million people in the spring and summer of 1994. While the story is generally about hope and survival, as Paul Rusesabagina saved 1,268 Rwandans in the genocide, the movie is nevertheless riddled with scenes of extreme violence and
thank you.
We're proud of the Bud Light name, but it's making people think there's beer in our great tasting seltzers, so we're gonna try covering up the paint.
It's like 10 minutes
while the
in this
violence
one.
is rarely graphic, the implications are horrendous, and knowing it was based on real events makes viewing even more difficult. Some of its images, like the famous road scene, will stick with you for years.
You will tell no one what you have seen here today.
Number 3. The Boy in the Striped Pajamas.
We're not supposed to be friends, you mean? We're meant to be enemies.
Any movie concerning genocide or the Holocaust makes for difficult viewing, and The Boy in the Striped Pajamas is no exception. The story follows a German boy named Bruno who befriends a Jewish boy in a concentration camp named Shmuel. We're then made to witness some extremely unsettling imagery, including a vicious beating of an old man and the weakened prisoners of the camp, before the movie ends with the deaths of both Bruno and Shmuel in a gas chamber. Stories about the Holocaust are obviously grim, but watching one centered around 2 young boys, both of whom die, is almost too much to handle.
It's not even worse when they burn, man.
What?
Number 2. Schindler's List. While Sophie's Choice, Hotel Rwanda, and The Boy in the Striped Pajamas share similar themes with Schindler's List, this is perhaps the most painful of them all, due to the depravity of the on-screen violence. Schindler's List lays it all out, and presents viewers with arguably the most disturbing and horrifying account of the Holocaust ever put to film. The acting is also mesmerizing, as we feel every ounce of pain, fear, and disgust experienced by these unfortunate characters. The ending, which features the real Schindler-Juden leaving stones on Schindler's actual grave, will also leave you a blubbering mess. It's an undeniable masterpiece, but we can understand if you never want to watch it again. Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
This is how us German did back then.
You can call me
I'm
stupid.
so out of love with you. I've got nothing left for you. Nothing. Nothing.
Were you like me, like a girl? Yeah. Like a long time ago. And then I guess I was just like a boy, girl.
Number 1. Requiem for a Dream. Requiem for a Dream is probably the most consistently depressing movie of all time. The film is a realistic look at the depravities of drug addiction, as each character slowly spirals deeper into ruination and regret. Sarah becomes addicted to amphetamines and grows manic, resulting in a dismaying scene of electroshock therapy. Harry's injection sites grow infected, and his arm is amputated. Marion regrettably sells her body for heroin. Aside from the bleak and pessimistic storylines, the movie's imagery is haunting and unforgettable, and the performances simply heartbreaking. It's not only one of the saddest movies ever, but also one of the scariest.
Give a juicy welcome to Mrs. Sarah Goldberg! Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from Watch Mojo and subscribe for new videos every day.
Okay, guys. I will see you on my last video, so I see you then.